So, what is going on, guys? I am Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another Zombies video on the channel, where today we are back with a Zombies Q&A, the series where I take your questions from the comment section below to do with the zombie storyline, Easter eggs, and I answer them. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, you know what to do by now. Drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. But let's get into it. Here we go, and enjoy. So the first question of today is from Teddy Rigner, and you say, "Hey BOA, story-wise, where are the other characters when you play solo? I mean, the characters do acknowledge they're missing." Well, the thing is, we don't know where they are. We assume they are still in the area, but as you say, whenever you play solo in a zombies game, since in our storyline, all 4 of our characters would go to a map and complete the Easter egg, do whatever quest they are there to do. That is what actually happens, that's what's canon, and so when we play solo, our characters say quotes like this.
Field report. Dimensional insertion point was off. We were too late. Richtofen interrupted established continuity. What happens next is uncertain. Allied operatives MIA. I have no choice but to continue the mission alone.
You can see there Dempsey said the rest of the crew are missing in action. There are plenty more quotes, it's just going to take me ages to find them all. If you take your mind back to Der Eisen Drache, if you played that map solo, and you are any other character besides from Richtofen, when you're making your way through the map and still doing the Easter egg, you'll begin to hear Richtofen's voice on the intercom, which tells us that he is still in the area, just not with the rest of the characters. So, although we don't know exactly where the characters go, it seems like the excuse is if you play solo, the rest of the crew are still in the location, just doing their own thing. The next question from KC Bones says, "Hey BOA, I have a question. In Verrucht, why do I hear a man screaming in the chair in the other spawn room?" So I've answered this before, but I wanted to bring it up and instead talk about the general atmosphere in Verrucht. Not just the one screen, but around the map you can hear countless people crying, screaming, children singing. These people that we hear are the voices of the past. Of course, Verrucht is a Group 935 base. Previous to them setting up their work here, it was a mental asylum. So the voices could be people that Group 935 experimented on. In fact, I would say that's the case. If we hear a guy screaming on a dentist chair, I mean, I suppose he could have been tortured before, but we know Group 935 took in prisoners of war. They use people as their test subjects to create zombies. It's also kind of dark and eerie how we can hear children and babies. I wouldn't put it past Group 935 to experiment on them as well. But like I said, before Group 935 set up operations here, it was a mental asylum, so the people that we hear screaming and crying could have been patients that were here before. And of course, this isn't the only map that we can hear this kind of stuff on. On Kino der Toten, we can hear people and children crying as well. That was a theatre, so that had to be to do with Group 935. It's just a really dark yet cool way of Treyarch making the atmosphere more scary, I guess. And that's definitely what it was back in the day. Nowadays, on new maps, we don't really get stuff like this. Zombies, for me at least, was 100% more scary back in 08 or 2010 compared to what it is now. The next question says, what's going to happen to Samantha and Eddie now? Will they go on to grow up? So at the end of our zombie storyline, we saw the only 2 characters that are left alive are Samantha and Eddie. The Primus and Ultimus characters are dead, Nikolai poisoned them, and everyone else such as Dr. Monty, the Shadow Man, Victus, were all banished to the Dark Ether. The multiverse, Argotha, the Ether were all destroyed, leaving only Samantha and Eddie alive, and we see at the end of the cutscene, they are left walking towards the light, about to enter a new universe. Time and space would be reset, however this time without the influence of the Ether. And so that's exactly what Samantha and Eddie are doing, walking into a new world, into a new universe, a new dimension. However, this one not impacted by the Ether, meaning no zombies, no Monty, no Element 115, no Primus or Ultimus crew, just those 2. I mean, I'm assuming there's going to be other people there as well, those that aren't connected to the Ether. But getting back to your main question, what's going to happen to Samantha and Eddie now? Are they just going to go on to grow up? Well, I'd assume so. In their previous universe, the one affected by zombies, the children weren't allowed to have a normal life. The whole reason our characters ended the cycle in the first place was to allow the children to have a life and grow up. And so since we've done that, well, that's what they should go on to do. There's no zombies anymore, so kind of just imagine it like they're living in our world now. They're gonna grow up, I guess, get jobs, maybe go on to watch YouTube or make some YouTube videos telling their story of the zombie storyline. Wait, what if I'm Eddie? No, but seriously, they should just go on to grow up and live normal lives. That is, unless something goes wrong in their new universe and there's another zombie outbreak. Since their new one isn't affected by 115 in the ether, if there was to be another zombie outbreak, it won't be element 115 that starts it. Unless, since we know the Dark Ether does still exist, and things like the Shadow Man and the Apothecans are trapped in there, what if they escape because they've done it before, and manage to enter the children's new world? Is that possible? But still, Element 115 no longer exists, so there'd be no zombies. But, just like in our world, I mean, we have viruses. It is possible that a zombie outbreak in their new universe starts in a different way. It could be man-made this time. That is something I would actually be really interested to see. Instead of Treyarch rebooting the Ether storyline like a lot of people want, I put out a poll the other day asking you guys in Black Ops 5 if you want just the Ether storyline as a reboot, just the Chaos storyline to continue, or you want Ether and Chaos at the same time. And looking at the results, I'll show you guys right here. 73% of you wanted just an Ether reboot, 4%, which is quite a shame, only wanted the Chaos story to continue, and 23% of you wanted both Ether and Chaos at the same time. So a lot of people want the Ether storyline to reboot, but what about it continuing from where we left off? Yes, Primus and Ultimus are now dead, there is no more Element 115, but Samantha and Eddie have started a new life as children, and perhaps Treyarch could continue the story, maybe like 30 years after the Tag der Toten ending, we see Samantha and Eddie grown up and another zombie outbreak starts, just this time it's man-made, or some kind of new virus spreads or something like that. It would kind of be like zombies back in the old days, 2008, where everything was more simple. There's an apocalypse going on, just this time there's no magical apothecans or godlike figures such as Dr. Monty. I mean, if that was to happen, we'd have to have two other characters, and I also don't know what their objective would be, maybe to just survive, or try and find a cure for this outbreak and to stop it. Actually, now I think about it, I would be interested in seeing that. Or, on the other hand, would you prefer a reboot, where we see Richtoff and Takeo, Nikolai and Dempsey once again, and it's kind of like the Modern Warfare reboot. We have similarities to the old storyline, such as returning characters, but also a lot of it would be new. Maybe in this reboot, 115 doesn't exist, Dr. Monty doesn't exist, the zombie outbreak starts in a different way. I'm not sure. Judging from your results, you don't just want the Chaos story, you want only Ether, or some of you want both at the same time. So it's going to be interesting to see what Treyarch are going to do this year. From the rumours, what we've heard so far, they are creating this year's COD, although it hasn't been confirmed, so we can't say 100% I guess. But surely if they're making it, there's always going to be zombies in their game, that's their staple. I don't know, I guess we'll just have to wait. I think it's like a month or maybe a month and a half, something like that. That's when we usually get the trailer for the next COD, but we should be seeing some leaks, maybe a poster or promotion, actually pretty soon. Anyway, let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Justin Blair says, hey BOA, if they had a gun that transfers zombies to humans in Call of the Dead, why didn't they use it as a cure? Well, the VR11 was definitely an interesting wonder weapon, but I believe there are two different reasons as to why we wouldn't really count this as a cure. Or really, I should say, there are two reasons as to why it wasn't used officially as one. The first one is, yes, even though it does turn zombies into humans, it doesn't exactly work very well. If you were using this as a cure, you could say it's not 100% polished, because we know when zombies are turned into a human by this, the humans then go crazy, they start screaming, they run around the map and eventually run into the closest body of water and freeze themselves to death. So yes, while it does turn zombies back into normal humans, well, they're not really normal because they begin acting crazy and kill themselves. So you can see, even if it was going to be officially considered as a cure, it's not really, it kind of makes things worse. And the other reason as to why we don't have a cure in zombies is because I don't think anyone was actually looking for one. Group 935 were trying to create zombies. They were trying to make a zombie horde for the Nazis. At no point were they looking for a cure. They were trying to create them, not turn them back. And the same goes for a lot of others. The Ascension Group, Division 9 were all out to create the undead as well. So were the Americans. The President was even in on it. At no point in our zombie storyline are we told anyone was looking for a cure. It would make sense to think that they were, but if they were trying, it would have been too late. I'm sure someone would have been trying to find a fix, but only after the zombie outbreak happened, and we know by then there weren't too many survivors around. And so guys, there we go. That is it. That is all I have for you for today's video. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, you know what to do. Drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. Could we shoot for, I don't know what like goal to set for this video, 2,000 500 likes? Is that too much? I don't know. I'll leave it down to you guys. Leave any questions that you have in the comment section below, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.